What up, TKO? This is Jay Peso here with you guys. I'm super excited for this call tonight. We got somebody special that's going to be here on this call with us. I ended up, meeting this individual, I believe at our first MDC event. And, I remember just hearing his story from stage and just being inspired, and like, I was feeling his style. I liked his style a lot. But it wasn't until our last event that we had and at the View that he went on stage and he told me to hold his phone while he recorded. I mean, while he trained, and I recorded his whole segment, and I was really like not just captivated, but like blown away with this individual story because I related to him on so many levels. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, knowing, we come from a specific place in the streets where, not many can relate in the network marketing world. And so when I heard his story, and I don't want to, steal the thunder from his story because it is that powerful. When I heard it, I mean, the whole talk, I had goosebumps. I not only was inspired, but I learned so much from this individual because he's not just your average rep. He's been in the industry of network marketing since 2008, which is, I heard a lot of people that got into the industry of network marketing around that time, where we had that, that 2008 recession, and he, just took advantage of that opportunity. He's not only was a rep or an affiliate, but he's also a former CEO. He's the individual that actually brought the product Essentiables to MDC. And so to have, somebody of his caliber on this call right now, somebody that's is not just a regular affiliate or rep, but was a former CEO that ran a company and was super successful with running that company, and just having somebody, as a CEO, look at MDC and see the see the vision of where MDC is going. I mean, I think that that speaks volumes. This guy's a legend. So what I will tell you to do is, take a notepad out. Take your phone. Like I would say, take a notepad out, get a pen, get a piece of paper. Be ready to take notes, because a lot of the times, you feel like you'll remember, what you hear on these calls, and you're, as soon as 5-10 minutes after the call, you'll forget what he said. But again, take a bunch of notes tonight. This call is to help you guys take your business to that next level, to take your life to that next level, and also help you lead your team, right? So with that being said, I want to introduce the one and only Mr. Damon Coleman. Are you on the line, bro? Are you on?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Peso, can you hear me and see me okay?
I see you fine. Let me pin you here. Let me add the pin here.
No, don't pin me, man. I like to see everybody.
I need hold up. Hold up. Remove pin, but I let me see if I get do this right here. I think you can still see everybody if I add.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say I see you and I see everybody.
Okay.
But first of all, Jay, I want to say, man, thank you so much for that incredible introduction. More than that, I want to thank you for the connection. I met you in Orlando at the company's,
yes.
At the company's international convention. That was actually my first convention as well. And just had a chance to learn a little bit about you from Jefferson Santos, because I'm like, man, your squad is, swaggadocious. You guys just bring a whole different energy to the company, man. And not only is it appreciated, I feel like it was needed in terms of coming to MDC, just based on the first wave around of leaders that started with the company. You guys bring that young, fly energy, and I absolutely love it. And you just being genuine. You just, every time I see you, man, you relaxed. Like a calm intensity. And, I can appreciate that. You're comfortable in your own skin, you know who you are, and you know where you're going. And that's one of the, true how can I say, true, goodness gracious, attributes of a great leader, man. And so I just want to say thank you. And I appreciate you, man, the connection, the relationship, and most definitely for inviting me on your platform tonight.
Thank you, man. Thank you for
But I
taking this
wanted
talk
to
with
keep,
us.
oh no, you got it, man. But I wanted to name drop a couple of folks on here today, because it seems like I see some of the same faces at the events. And so we have, let's see, starting off to bat, look like I see Jay Miles all the time. I see, goodness gracious, Miss Iris all the time. I see, where my man go, Raphael. I don't see his name anymore, but I saw him earlier. Let me open up my screen. I see Raphael all the time. I see George all the time. I see Miss Shayna all the time. And might be someone else on here whose picture is not up. But the reason I'm pointing these guys out is because, you know, one of the first things that you want to do, guys, when you get started with the company, you want to get plugged in. You know, you want to get plugged in, and you want to be able to see, not only see the information that other leaders, you know, are presenting, you want to be able to feel it. And you want to be able to get to a point to where you could even start duplicating some of the things that you see some of the top earners do, because that's what I did, guys. I used to chase down events.
Right.
I used to chase them down, Jay. And, you know, we didn't have Zooms. We didn't have social media and all of that when I got started. So I chased down conference calls. You know, I made sure when I logged on, my leader heard my name, Demond Coleman, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm screaming, man, because I'm letting them know I'm showing up. But I also, you know, never missed an event, man, whether I had to drive, whether I had to fly, whether I had to share a room, you know, whatever the case may have been, I never missed an event that I qualified for. And you got some leaders in your organization, man, they're just not missing, you know. And one thing about it, when you stay close enough to the fire, eventually you're going to burn. And so that's the name of this game, man. And so before I get into any information tonight, I just wanted to shout you out, shout out some of your teammates, some of your leaders, man. And, you know, I'll turn it over to you in case you want to start off with some questions or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know, first and foremost, I want, you know, there's a few people on this call that's never heard your story. So I kind of, you know, want to get into your story, you know, how you got started in the industry of network marketing, and, you know, how your success came about, and, you know, what it took for you to, you know, to gain that first, not first level, but, you know, that first time success in network marketing. Right. So we could start there.
Excellent. And so here's the cool thing about it. I've told my story a million times, but I've never told it the way I'm about to tell it right now, because and it's because of the way you asked the question. You said, what were some of the things I did leading up to my success in network marketing? And Jay Peso, in almost 15 years, it'd be 15 years in September, man, nobody's ever asked me the question like that. And the reason I can appreciate that is because a lot of times when you see somebody's results, you don't know the price they paid or some of the things that they went through or some of the sacrifices that they made to actually get there. And so, you know, first of all, man, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. You know, I grew up not in the concrete jungle of New York, but I grew up in the concrete jungle of St. Louis, Missouri. And my neighborhood in particularly was extremely drug infested, you know, high crime rate. But my stepdad, when he married my mom, he moved us out of Kinloch, which is where I grew up, to a neighborhood called Ferguson. Some of you guys might have remembered the whole situation. Anki too. I see Anki at all the events too. So I got to shout out Miss Anki. But also, guys, he moved us into a neighborhood called Ferguson, which you heard about Mike Brown, the guy that got shot in the back by the cop. So I actually went to Ferguson Middle School. Okay. And Ferguson was a low income neighborhood, but they had yards. So in the summertime, I could cut grass, I could rake leaves, I could shovel snow, you know. So I started off as a youngster getting my hands dirty, putting in work. Now I didn't wake up one day, oh, I can't wait to cut grass. I can't wait to shovel snow. No, guys, my stepfather used to beat the crap out of me, and make me do a lot of work. And, and if the work didn't get done, there was consequences to pay. And so what I learned at a very young age is how to do things out of a spirit of excellence. Now, there's a statement that I heard, and I like it. It's a little self-righteous, but I believe 90% of it is true. And that saying goes like this: how you do anything is how you do everything. Now, okay, that's strong, right? But I believe the 10% is grace, because nobody's perfect. But 90% of the time in our lives, we need to be operating out of a spirit of excellence, meaning taking pride in what it is that the task that we were given to do, or taking pride in the task that we gave ourselves to do. And so I had this whole, imagination working when I would be cutting other people's grass, or raking other people's leaves, or shoveling other people's snow. Because in St. Louis, we have about 4 seasons. Now, in my imagination, I would say, do this like Kenny was watching. Kenny was my stepdad, okay? And I used to say, man, do it like he's watching. Because if he was watching, how are you going to get this done? Okay. And so that became the thought process. And so I did that up until I was like 12, turned 12. My friends started selling drugs already. I didn't want to get in the game because I just watched my mom put my big brother out the house, beat him out the house, for selling drugs. And so started selling candy, not because I woke up one day, oh, what a great idea to say, no, guys, I'm on the bus. Leon gets on the bus. Leon had a jerry curl, and he used to stink bad, okay? But Leon would get on that bus with that stinky jerry curl, and he would have a bucket of candy. And at the end of the day, when we got off the bus, Leon got off that bus first, and he just run. I don't know why he was always running, but he would run up the street, be gone. But Leon, the bucket was empty, had a pocket full of change. So I asked my sister, like, what Leon, like, would he be selling the candy? She's like, oh boy, Leon been selling candy since the 6th grade. Now I'm in the 6th grade, Leon in the 8th grade. Okay. So I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. So so I started selling candy, man. So from the 6th grade to the 8th grade, started selling candy. By the 8th grade, I also started teaching myself how to cut hair, and always still operating out of that spirit of excellence, getting up super early in the morning, walking to the grocery store, buying my gum wholesale. I used to get 7 packs of Bubblicious for $1.39, and I used to sell them for 50 cents a pack. So I was making $3.50 on every $1.39 I was spending, man. And believe it or not, that was enough money for me to get my LA Gear boots, my starter caps, my little starter jackets, my Dickies, so I got hooked, man, on being able to make money for myself and to be able to bring some money home to my mom, because by the end, she got away from my stepdad, and, I was able to pitch in and everything. But fast forward, I had the work ethic, guys, and I knew how to work hard with my hands. Mm-hmm. But what I didn't have, Jay Peso, until I got to the feds, was how to work hard with my head. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even know that when I was in the feds, that's what I was doing. But I started reading, man, like a lot of different books. And I was never really an avid reader. I read a lot of books up until I was like in the 5th and 6th grade, because it was my way of escaping the reality of the home I lived in. So I'd go in the basement, give me a nice little cover over my head, my little flashlight, get in my book, and I would just lose myself. Well, by the time I got to junior high, gang banging, man, and selling dope and all this kind of stuff, like I stopped reading. I didn't start reading again until I got to the feds, which was in 2005. So my ex-wife was sending me books. We had an amazing library, and I used to just dive in, man, on information. I didn't even know it was called personal development at the time. I didn't know they were self-help books. I just, they made sense. And what these books helped me to realize was I have a lot inside of me to offer that I really didn't even know. A lot of the things that they were telling me to do, I'm like, dude, you're doing it. Right. So like many of you, I was what you call incompetent conscious. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, that's backwards. I was competently unconscious or unconsciously competent. I think that's how you say it.
Mm.
What that means, guys, is I was doing the right things, but I didn't know I was doing the right things. So that means I wasn't being intentional. Okay. But I'm pointing to myself to the point where when I came home, I was on fire, man. And I'm talking about on fire to the point where I had a whole blueprint laid out in terms of what I was going to do when I got out. And do you know, when I got out, nothing that I had in my blueprint was available to me. I used to flip houses before I got indicted. I used to do mortgage loans before I got indicted. Well, when I got out, it was a recession, like you said. I got out during a recession, so they changed the banking laws. You could no longer do mortgages as a convicted felon, and that was one of my biggest hopes, because the gentleman that taught me how to do mortgages, who taught me how to flip houses, who taught me how to have boarding houses, he was a convicted felon, and he was a multimillionaire. But here it is, by the time I come home, thinking I'm gonna have a story like his, man, they put a stamp on it and said, you got to be licensed to be a loan officer now. I'm like, wow, what? Then, because the market crashed, you couldn't get a good deal in terms of real estate, man. So I went back behind the chair, cutting and styling hair, something I did in St. Louis. I used to own my own barbershop and beauty salon, but I just felt like I had outgrown that at that point in my life. But one thing my mom taught me as a youngster was, you do what you got to do until you do what you do what you have to do until you do what you want to do. So I'm
100%.
like, you know what? I'm grateful to be able to get behind the chair and cut hair without having to go and clock in for somebody else. So I got excited about it, and that spirit of excellence, it kicked back in. So here it is, I'm cutting and styling hair, man. You know, I get hip to some technology for hair, start selling flat irons and blow dryers, did it on a high level to the point where the owner of the company asked me to come to the Bronner Brothers and sell those same products on the floor as an independent rep. And I could earn 10% on everything I sold. So I'm like, okay, well, cool. Did that for a couple of days, guys. And it was amazing. Make a long story short, while I was there, a lady out of Houston, Texas, introduced me to network marketing. And it wasn't with a product that you would have thought, you know, you might get introduced to. It was women's undergarments, body shapers, girdles, what we know now as waist trainers. But this was before Instagram, TikTok, all of that. There was no social media models selling waist trainers, none of that, guys. We were first. And so my buddies laughing at me, oh, Demond down in Atlanta selling draws, selling underwear, you know, and all this foolishness. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But people losing weight off the underwear that I'm selling, so just watch. And so started off family, friends, laughing at me, heckling me, George. You know, nobody really bought in that I knew, you know, particularly. And I was like, you know what? Because I went to an event, this is what saved me, guys. This is what saved my man Darren. What's going on with you, doctor? So what saved me was I went to an event in Houston that October, shortly after I got started. My sponsor practically begged me to come because it was on a Saturday. I'm like, if I'm not at the barbershop, I'm not going to get any, I'm not going to make money. But she convinced me to come. I get to Houston, Texas, nothing fancy about the hotel room at all. But Raphael, I saw a lady walk across the stage in a post office uniform. I saw a lady walk across the stage, her and her husband, two of the most prominent doctors in South Carolina. I saw a lady walk across the stage that was a former stripper, GED for an education. And all of them, side by side, was holding a check. I'm like, wait a minute. How do you have a doctor, two doctors, a stripper, and a postal worker on the same stage? Like having equal and some a little more success than others. Man, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat and I'm like, I can't wait to get back to Atlanta, man. I'm talking to everybody because the conversation and the training was pretty much the same. Like, you know, how did you get the people? Well, I met this person at the grocery store. I met this person at the gas station. This lady been on my job. And like these are, so I'm like, oh, so the same thing I was doing in Atlanta, sharing haircuts and, you know, sharing pictures of my haircuts to people in my phone so they could come to me and be my client, my customer. I'm like, all I got to do is talk to people and share this product. I'm like, oh man. So going back just a little bit, the reason I reference, my childhood and the reason I reference Leavenworth, two things. Number one, as a child, I learned work ethic. You don't finish till the job is done. You work, and you work out of a spirit of excellence.
Right.
Prison is where I start doing a lot of personal development. So when I got out, you say, well, man, nothing you thought you was going to do panned out. Well, if I hadn't been doing personal development, I would have felt defeated.
Right.
But the books that I was reading about people that have been turned down, people that have been rejected and all this stuff, and they still ended up being successful, I'm like, oh, well, I just need to figure something else out. I didn't know what, but because I was thinking like this, I was on that frequency. I attracted the flat irons and the blow dryers. I did that out of a spirit of excellence. I sold a lot of money into that business, a lot of time into that business. Didn't go exactly how I wanted it to go, but it gave me something to do to where I felt like I had a hope. I had some hope. I had a chance. But then because I operated out of a spirit of excellence, I'm still on that frequency. I attracted multi-level marketing. So this is all through personal development. This is all through mindset. This is all about me getting on the vibration and the frequency, which I didn't even know nothing about vibrations and frequencies at that time. Again, I was unconsciously competent.
Right.
Didn't know that I knew. So fast forward, here I am, left the event in Houston, get back to Atlanta. Me and a stripper, we tag team. Oh yeah. She had the biggest check. I didn't tell y'all, but she was the one that had the biggest check, bigger than the doctors, bigger than the post office, worked with, all the professionals.
Legend.
Oh yeah, the stripper did go legend too, by the way.
Yeah.
So here it is, man. I waited for her to come outside the meeting, and I'm like, what did you do to get this check? Like, I just got out of the feds. I'm not trying to go back. I need something to give. I need something to work, because during this time, I was already thinking like, okay, I need to put some stuff in place because it's taking too long. So I started getting impatient. Some of y'all might read between the lines. And so here it is. She said, well, I just talked to everybody. And she said it looking like, sounding, talking like, I talk to everybody.
I can see it.
And I was like, well, me too. I was like, but they're not listening to me. She said, well, you've been talking to? I'm like, man, I told my sister, my brother. She's like, oh, no. She was like, no, my family and friends, they don't. She was like, boy, I used to strip. She was like, I got a GED. They don't respect me about no business unless I'm calling about some kind of scam or something like that. Like, they not interested. I said, so then who you talking to? She said, whoever listened. I said, you made that kind of money from strangers? She was like, oh, absolutely. And those guys lead me to, because guys, believe it or not, I have been in this company for 2 weeks and I hadn't recruited a soul. I didn't even know I was in a multi-level marketing company.
Wow.
I signed up to sell the product, Jay.
Wow.
That was it. And it wasn't until I went to the meeting where I was like, wow, okay, this is what we can do. And so, man, we went out to LA Fitness. We're at the gyms. We're at the barbershops. We're at the beauty salons. We're at the malls, man. Anybody that would listen, man. We had old folks, nursing homes passing out flyers. And I mean, we was everywhere, rain, sleet, or snow, man, like out there. And in the beginning, first 90 days, 4 months, man, was nothing really shaking, but by that 5th month, oh my gosh, man, I got a check for $2,500 next month, $7,500 next month, over $15,000 next month, over $30,000 next month, over $50,000. By my 9th month in the business, guys, my first 9 months in network marketing, I was earning over $50,000 a month.
Wow. Wow.
No social media, Jay Peso.
Wow. That's all that, man, that got my head standing up, because that's like, it's all about planting the seeds. That's really what it is. And the seeds don't grow the next day. And people get so frustrated with, oh, I showed, 20 people last week, nothing happened. It's really all about planting the seeds and not looking. It's everything you do today. You'll see 90 days later, 120 days later, whatever the case may be. And you just sharing that story. I'm thinking about my story. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. That's just, I love it. I love it. You got to plant the seeds.
Now you said something, planting seeds. Watch this. If I was just thinking one dimension, I would have thought you was talking about just the people I was talking to that was saying no, and all these other people I have to talk to. But man, the first seed started here.
Right. Right.
The first seed started here.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't reading these books back then because I didn't know about these books, but I was reading, I was pouring into me. I was getting mentally in shape.
Right.
Hey, so you're a professional fighter, man. Like, you know what you got to do when it's time to zone out and zone in. Like, you hit that gym, man. You're up super early in the morning. You're running around with a hoodie on, you know, you going the extra mile, but you also practicing what? Discipline, things that you would do that you would normally do if you didn't have a fight. You're not doing that right now.
Right.
So it had to be a season of separation, guys. Season of separation from the negative friends, season of separation from the negative family, season of separation from TV. Man, I remember when I first got started in network marketing, I didn't watch TV for so long. By the time I sat down and watched TV, man, it felt like I was doing something wrong.
Right, 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 right.
It felt like I was doing something wrong. You know, oh, my man, oh, Jaden pulled out the 4 agreements on them. Okay, I see you, man.
Right.
But yeah, so, but I watch TV sometimes, not all the time. But at that time, I couldn't afford to watch no TV. So I had to become a season of separation of my lifestyle and the things that I would like to do for fun. Because here's what I'm going to tell you guys, ain't nothing cool about getting rich until you get rich. Nothing cool about getting rich. Everything is cool about being rich. But getting rich, Marcus said it, nothing of greatness come easily or quickly. So Jay talking about, 90 days, 120 days, some of y'all sowed seeds 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you just now seeing the harvest. Some of you guys sowing seeds right now, you might not see a harvest for another 18, 24 months. But guess what? 18, 24 months going to come whether you like it or not. God will. Okay. So what are you going to do in the meantime, between time, to put yourself in a better position to win? And for me, guys, outside of impeccable work ethic, which is not enough, guys, is not enough. You can work yourself to death. You square Price Pritchett, how to multiply your personal effectiveness in the quantum leap. You squares opened up talking about a fly that we all remember when we were a kid that just kept hitting up against the window pane. Like the fly had a motor on it. It just wouldn't stop. But like 5 feet away is a window wide open, front door wide open. All the fly had to do was pivot, come out a little bit, but the fly, for some reason, was thinking, if I just keep beating up against this window, it's going to open and I'm going to get out. No. The fly died. Like you've seen them all in the bottom of the windowsill. 4 or 5 dead flies. They all different colors, purple, green. Like the fly dead. It killed itself. So you can't just work hard, guys, externally. You got to work hard internally. Now, if you're not a big reader, no problem. You got audios that you can listen to. But if you're not pointing to your vessel, guys, right, which is can run on empty, especially if you're the type of person that's pointing to other people, whether it's like my man Joseph pointing to his baby boy right there, pointing to his lady, pointing to his leaders, right? As we pour out, man, we got to fill our cup back up, man.
Right.
Are you going to be out here on E? So the first time somebody tell you no, or first time you run into a roadblock, first time people don't show up on a call, first time people don't show up to a meeting, different things like that, you don't faint. Now, I'm going to say this. You doing this work, you still might faint, but watch this. You know how some people faint and it take them a while to wake back up. You got to fan them and, do all this stuff. When you're working on yourself, you might faint and you right back. See, the difference between a leader versus someone that's not is their ability to recover quickly.
Exactly.
Because negative things happen to Jake Peso, negative things happen to Raphael, and all these leaders that we have on the line, guys. The difference between them and most people is their recovery time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. Jake Peso, you know that as a fighter. You go take some hits, man. Oh, nobody's invincible, but how fast can you recover?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so the personal development, guys, is essential. These books that I'm sharing with you, if you haven't got them, guys. This book on sale on Amazon for $7 right now. Ask me how I know. Oh, I'm sorry. It's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
I love those books.
Then you got As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It's not $15 either.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got U Squared by Price Pritchett. It's about $14. Then you got The Richest Man in Babylon, one of my all-time favorites as well, okay? So, you don't have to read them all at once or anything like that. And if I had to tell you where to start today, if you open to my suggestion, I would say start right here.
Yeah.
Very thin, as you can see. No hard read. Most of the pages don't even have a lot of words on them. You got a title on one. And so very easy. But ask me how many times I read this little bitty book.
Right.
See, U Squared is all about multiplying your personal effectiveness and the quantum leaps, guys. Some of you, you think that you got to go from one step to the next step, to the next step, to the next step, to the next step, and then it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. No, guys, you can have a quantum leap, which means you could go from here to here.
Yeah.
Just like that. Oh, Damon, no, you got to take the stairs. There's no elevator. Yes, it is. It's right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the elevator. So the more it goes up, the better chance you put yourself into going up. Because, guys, listen, the way you get on the elevator, okay, is to become consciously aware of what you're thinking, what you're saying, and how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's the law of vibration. These are principles. And the higher you vibrate, the higher the frequency, and it's the frequency where we attract. So everything we want is already here. It's just waiting on you to get on the frequency for it to come your way. And so these books, guys, they are principle driven. Doesn't matter your religion, doesn't matter your faith. The principles don't discriminate. Mm-hmm. They go work for the white man, they go work for the black man, they go work for the Chinese man, they go work for the Spanish man, the Latin man. They're going to work, guys. So you can't even use that excuse anymore. Oh, well, I bet if I was, this, I would. No, no, guys. You practice the principles, you participate in the promise. But if you don't know the principles, how you going to get to the promise?
Mm-hmm. Wow. You said so much, man. And I love that you chose to pick on, I love that you chose to speak about personal development out of everything you could have spoke about tonight. Because that is the key to success, period. Somebody asked me the other day, what makes you different from, everybody else that gets into network marketing? I said, yeah, I work hard, you work hard. There's thousands of people that get into network marketing that work really hard, but they forget to work hard on themselves. You know what I mean? It's like Jim Rohn says, work harder on yourself than you do anything else. And you just saying this is just I love it. I love the books that you're talking about. Even, when you're going through the family, the friends, everybody that made, that made fun of you, these books is what's going to get you through, these audios is what's going to get you through. I want you to talk about, the next event that we got coming up, called Ascend, and the importance of, getting there and, how you should promote, coming from a professional like you.
Well, guys, I'm going to tell you like this. Events build businesses. It was the first event that I went to in Houston that set the trajectory for the rest of my career. I didn't know how important it was for me to be there at that moment in time. I didn't even know what to expect. My leader didn't even tell me what to expect. She just told me I need to be there by any means necessary. But it was the stories that I heard while I was at the event. It was the people that looked like me, the people that been through similar challenges, the people that I could relate to. And it was the fact that I felt like for the first time in my life, I got a fair chance at this, what we call the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't thinking like that. I always felt like I had a disadvantage for growing up poor, growing up Black, or, this and that, and all of this. And I'm like, no, man, these people are like crushing it, and they're all from different backgrounds. I got that from an event, Jay Peso.
Right.
I remember my second company I was a part of, man. I remember going to that event, and I remember, they had the front sections roped off and everything, and then they had tables up in the front, and on the tables they had fruit and Fiji water and snacks, and I'm like, man, we back here hungry, thirsty, had to wait in a long line, super long to get in. The people sitting at the tables, and I told my wife at the time, this is the last time we sitting back here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. I made a decision. And events, guys,
yes,
as fun as they can be, they are designed to help you make a decision.
Exactly.
That's what events are for. You're going to get more information, but you know why I focused on personal development tonight, Jay Peso? Because anything I could have told these guys about building, you've already told them. Mm-hmm. Prospecting, three-way calls,
mm-hmm.
Following up, sampling. Mm-hmm. Everybody on this Zoom right now knows something physically they can do to take their business to the next level. Mm-hmm. Everybody on the Zoom right now. Even if you're brand new today, you know at least 3 things that you can do to help you get some results. You need to talk to people, make friends everywhere you go. People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. One of my claim to fame, guys, is being personable. Like, I grew up in the streets, so I used to try to practice my mean mug. Smiling, forget about it. Right, but when I get to know you, I'm open. It's cool. We kicking it. But mm-hmm. day to day, mm-hmm. practice looking hard, right? So moving into a new world, a new way of thinking, a new way of being, man, I've been smiling. I'm speaking. How you doing? Good morning, good evening. And I'm genuine. I'm not being fake about it because it's really who I always been. But because of the environment that I was in, right. I have to show my teeth.
Right.
Growing up in the Bronx, any of y'all grew up in New York, like friendly faces don't always serve you well.
Right. Right.
But in this industry, a friendly face, a big smile, a warm welcome. Hey, can I grab that? Can I help you? You need some help? Like, I'm looking for ways in the streets to show my value to people, man. Mm-hmm. I want people to see that I have something to offer. I want people to see that I can be an asset. And you know what else? I omitted this part of it. And this is huge, guys. This again was being unconsciously competent. You know what I used to do unconsciously? I used to think about my future all the time, to the point where I used to say this silently to myself. I hope one day somebody see me and see enough in me that they'll just be willing to take me under their wings and show me how to live another way. I used to say this all the time, man, like to myself, like, God, please let somebody see me and take an interest in me and want to show me something. This is how I learned how to cut hair. This is how I learned how to flip houses. This is how I learned how to do mortgage loans. This is how I learned, guys, how to speak, through watching other speakers, giving me tips and everything. This is how I got introduced to network marketing.
Wow.
I recently decided I wanted to learn how to trade. And I'm like, man, the way you are, Demond, like attention span short, like, dude, you need some hands-on training. That's what you need, man. You need somebody like really be hands-on. Well, guess what, guys? I put my intentions out there. I don't remember how Cyril and I got connected, but we got connected. I told her where I was at. I wanted to learn how to trade. And I'm not trying to put a business out there or anything like that, but like I paid her to personally train me and coach me how to be a successful trader. Oh, with Demond, she's an educator with the company. You could just learn. Not me, just sitting on the Zoom. Like, no, some people can learn very well that way. And so I made an investment in myself. But watch this. I didn't know it was going to be Cy. I didn't know who it was going to be. I just said, I want to learn how to trade and I want some hands-on training. You see where I'm going with this, guys? See, thoughts are not only things, thoughts also have wings. So when you're thinking about something, it's like a little eagle going out in front of you,
Right.
Looking for it, just looking on your behalf. So imagine that. The more you think about it, the more you bring about it. All this stuff sounds cliche-ish, guys. And when I was like, kept missing my ranks and everything, and I'm getting frustrated, and you know, my leader's telling me about all this personal, I'm like, man, I want to hear all that, man. Tell me what I need to do to get to the next level. But this was it. This was it. I just didn't receive it because it was so different from the things that I have been taught traditionally about becoming successful.
I'm just listening.
I just, I like to pause for a question, man, just in case.
Yeah, man, I think, it's 9:47. I think you gave so much on this call, tonight. And
Pace, I'm sorry, I didn't follow all the instructions you gave me. Listen, guys, Miami for a sin is going to be amazing. And because Marcusetta just came on board last year, guys, every event, as you notice, that you've been to is getting better. Now, Marcusetta has been doing this for years, but he's in a whole new environment. He's learned how to work with the different leaders in the company. He's learning how to work with the CEO. And so every event I'm noticing, from Orlando to Dallas, guys, to freaking Nashville, like the events are getting better, guys. Listen, let me say this, and I'm going to let you wrap it up, Jay. This is how you go to an event. With expectations. You never go to an event without knowing what you want to get from that event. Can you get more than what you came for? Absolutely. But set the intentions. I used to say stuff like, when I get to the event, I'm going to make sure I ask 3 top leaders these specific questions. I wasn't the dude like, can I get a picture? I take pictures with the leaders, but before I ask them for a picture, I ask them questions. And I already have my questions formulated. Not that my sponsor wasn't telling me the right things to do. I just knew my sponsor didn't have all the answers, nor did the top leader when I got to the event have all the answers, but they had some answers that I had not heard. So always go to an event with the expectation in terms of what you're going to get from that event. Always go to an event with somebody else. And I almost said if you can, but if there was a fifth, we all be drunk. Ain't drinking the night on the Zoom. So ain't no if to it, guys. Take somebody to that event. The more people you get to an event, the faster your business will explode, guys. Because again, events build belief. Okay. And so decisions are made at beliefs. Jay Peso, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. Man, I hope it's not the last time you have me back on Team TKO Opportunity Training Calls, man. I'm here to serve, brother. So anything you need, you guys are my favorite. I love your whole community, man. I love the vibe that you bring, the energy that you guys bring, and all y'all act like y'all like me, man. So I like all y'all too. So hey, I'm in it to win.
Man, thank you so much for that. For the, incredible tips that you gave. I do want to end the call with the reminder of the promo pack that we have. We got this $7.99 pack here that you can get a bunch of different products in. I forgot what products are in it. It's in your back office. But with this $7.99 pack, you're going to get 1 ticket to the Ascend. This is huge, and I've been in this game for 11 years. I've been to every Marcusetta event. I've never missed an event in the last 11 years. And I've never seen anybody put out a pack like this with a ticket to the training. So you could take advantage of that in so many different ways. You could use these products as sample products. You could use the products, to, maybe, for your teammates or whatever the case may be. Maybe you want to try a bunch of different products. This is a great way for you to try a bunch of different products, at the same time. I'll leave it as, all top leaders say the same thing when it comes down to the events. They try to get to in front of the room. They try to get closer to the money. That's where you want to be when you get to the events. I'm excited, that everybody hopped on this call. This is recorded. We will put the call out tonight or tomorrow. Thank you, Damon Coleman, for just sharing your passion with us, and just your expertise in the industry, man. Really appreciate you for doing that for us. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. we will have our TKO weekly call. So be ready for next week and get more of our new members on these calls. So let's get it, guys. Have a great night. God bless, and let's get it.